Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. A slightly different order. Welcome back to Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this world. Yes, I've got LTL, the original Godfather, who again is going to make me an offer that I won't refuse. I've got no choice in the matter. I've got no choice. LTL, how are you, my friends?
I'm all right. I'm rocking and rolling. There's a bit of spring sunshine bit behind me coming through the window. So for any of our friends out there in the southern hemisphere, of course, it's the early autumn. So
Yeah,
a lot of people follow us from different parts of South America. So they'll be experiencing early autumn, and we're experiencing early spring. There
thank
you go.
goodness for that. And as well for us lot over here, the clocks go forward, backwards, forwards. I always get confused. But listen. We've got some other bits of Arsenal live news, and we've got, like I said yesterday, actually, for the longest time, that we've got a couple of special guests. This one's going to be a raucous one. So, guys, you better strap yourselves in. Yeah, get a bit of tonic, put your feet up, forget about the Burger King or the Mackie D's. Just tune in here, right on this channel, Cannon Fodder TV. So we'll see you, LT and myself, on this other side of this music intro. Yes, guys, welcome back to Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over this one. I just wondering, I wonder how many times I've actually said that over the course of 3 years. I
Well,
was never good at maths.
you should find a way of doing a registration of that so that other people can't use it.
Do you
Eh?
think it'll work? I don't think it'll work, Tel.
Very difficult to prove, but you never know. Keep you busy in the wee small hours when there's nothing else to do.
Anyway, guys, listen, make sure you subscribe to Cannon for You TV and hit the bell notification button so you can be part of not only the podcast, but it's the community. We're loving the community here on Cannon for You TV. Like I said, the Arsenal fans predominantly all over the world. But yeah, so we've got a happy hammer coming on in just like short of like 10 minutes time. It's going to be a raucous one. He's like of the ilk of LTL. He's got so many anecdotes and so many stories, but it's going to be a raucous one. So make sure, guys, before that happens, you subscribe to the channel, like and like do it like now. Otherwise, I'll send the original Godfather to come and find you guys. So make sure you subscribe now. Thank you. Thank you. Right, so the first bit of news that we want to get into is in regards to Nico Pepe. Nico Pepe, and some of you might or might not be aware, African Cup of Nations. Yes, it's going to come up very, very soon. So there's 3 players who are going to put us short on our squad numbers. Mohamed El Neni, Nico Pepe, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who scored a goal for Gabon. Yes. So I'm not sure what Mikel Arteta. I mean, do they not think about that, LTL?
I
The
think they
players
do.
that they're bringing in, if they're international players, when they go to the competitions, namely the African Cup of Nations, we're going to be short on numbers still. Do you think they think about that? Do they think
Well,
about that?
it that this whole thing is a mishmash, and if Arsene Wenger has his way, now that he holds some sort of power at, is it FIFA, we're going to have a completely different season whereby it starts in March and ends in October, and then after that you can have all these other competitions, and you can have your African Cup of Nations. They have a similar thing in South America because we've got quite a few South Americans, Brazilians, and other guys. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean they will take that into account, and of course there is a limit now to the number of non sort of UK based players that you can sort of have in your team. So yeah, they will take that in, but at the same time, you know, if you've got a top quality player, I mean, Oba showed his true colours, didn't he? Scoring 2 fantastic goals, absolutely wonderful goals. So, yes, they do take it into account, but it's not a priority. I wouldn't have thought.
Yeah. And yeah, on hot on the heels of that, actually, tell Frank Worthington, who passed away last week. Last
Yeah.
week, yeah, wonderful player, a maverick of a player.
He was. He had this kind of quite hairy sort of mopper barnet, as we call it in London. Yeah. And he sometimes had a beard, and he had this kind of swagger. You know, he was almost like a pop star. You know, the way he swaggered on. Very, very skillful player, and he's a big guy. He's a 6-footer, centre forward, but a very sweet left foot. Great skill. And I remember him for Leicester, if I remember rightly, but he played for quite a few of the clubs, and he's the sort of fellow, even when you're watching your own team, you keep an eye on him because everything he did was so tasteful and so wonderful. You know, so we've had players like that come through over the years that even when you're watching Arsenal, you're going to have an eye on somebody else that really is good. And he had that certain something about the way he played. And it's quite a shame, really, that he didn't get to play for a really top club and win the really. I mean, he would have been wonderful at sort of Wembley in an FA Cup final and so on. But
Yeah,
Frank was a top player, loved by everybody, really, I think, and especially as he had this kind of pop star image, I suppose, really, you know. Yeah,
so I didn't realize he played for England. He got like 8 caps.
yeah,
I didn't realize.
yeah, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
goodness. Okay, and of course before that, Peter Lorimer passed away like a week today. Yeah, record the youngest player ever played for Leeds United and a record scorer as well, spanning 23 years. Two segments playing for Leeds United. I think he passed away at the age of 74. Peter Lorimer. That was one of my brother's favourite players as well.
Well, I
His
must
soul
say,
is
any Arsenal fan of going back the years like me will remember Leeds were the thorn in our side when our double team was coming through, and we struggled to beat them time and again. And funnily enough, my daughter's at university up there, and I said once this pandemic's over, I'll go and see a few Leeds matches, you know. um, but yes, I remember them in the League Cup final. Was that 68 or 69? And we lost to Leeds by a very controversial goal. I'm sure Peter Lorimer played in that game. He was a lovely player, had a fantastic shot on him, not unlike John Samuels that played for Arsenal, but better. and and then of course we met them again in the 72 Cup final, FA Cup final that time, and lost. But the important one, I guess, was that we managed to pip them for the league championship in 1971. That's the famous one that everybody all remembers. But I do remember going up to Leeds about 4 or 5 games before the end of the season, and of the 71 season, and we all kind of all the Arsenal fans, all the people from Highbury, from where I lived, all congregated on at King's Cross station. We all got on the train, went up to Leeds. Now I was on the first train, but the second train arrived late, and they all missed the match. So all they did was went into Leeds. They slid down the embankment because the train was struggling to get into the station, went off into a pub in Leeds, and then brought crates. There's no cans in them there, so they brought crates of beer back, and and everybody had a very happy journey home, even though we lost again a controversial goal in the last few minutes, this time by Jackie Charlton. But we have happy memories and sad memories of playing Leeds, but I wouldn't hold that against them, and they seem to have a very good club now.
yeah, yeah. And the last the segment is in regards to this gentleman here who shall not be named. Shall not be named. And Willian says that he struggles. He struggles with the worst of my career. The Brazilian player maker has opened up about his difficulties he encountered during the early weeks of his Gunners career. And Arsenal midfielder says that he endured the worst period of his professional career when he lost his place in the side early this season, but feels he's finally approaching something close to his best. And I tell you what, I mean, he's enjoyed his worst period in his career, and so have we, William. So have we. God, Derry, man, you need to pull up the socks, otherwise we can ship you out. But yeah, William just and again, he did actually say a couple months ago that he's finding, Arteta's like training regime and like the patterns of play very, very difficult to understand. and like the proof is in the pudding. Actually, he actually come out and said, actually, no, that's the worst period in my career. And I was thinking, yeah, for us too. Tell, I know your thoughts about.
Well, it's very about the old W
Yeah.
man. Yeah, funny enough, you always see him with knitted brows, as if he's really struggling with whatever the heck you're telling him. And, and it may be that, you know, sad to say, you know, maybe it's the first of the downturns, that up to now he's always been young and fit. And then he's got to start thinking a different way. And there is no doubt that Arteta is the sort of guy who is a wonderful tactician, and you've got to be up to speed with him. And when you've had Willian playing it off the cuff his whole life, and then suddenly a guy's saying to him, if the ball is in this position, you do this, and the whole thing gets very complicated, and it must be hard for him to take on board. And plus the fact we're playing him on the left-hand side, and he always played on the right-hand side. So yeah, I got a feeling that he's not been a good buy, and it should be goodbye. It's I think Arteta's got to admit he made a slight error there, and I know he's had quite a few assists, and they're all little short 4 or 5 yard sort of assists and so on. So we'll have to go with Arteta now, and but it does look a little bit as though the guy's career or form is on a downturn, and may never return, of course.
Yeah. All right, guys. So those were the 3 segments of news in regards to Arsenal. Anyway, as usual, I try and give you like 3 bits of news. There's a gentleman who's just entered this morning's segment, and I recognise him. And I'll tell you what, there are 2 things that all 3 of us have in common. So Gabriel, Gabs, good morning, Gabe. Actually, it's good evening because he's on the other side of the world. He's in Australia. Gabriel, how are you?
Yeah, good. Can you hear me?
We can hear you clearly.
Oh, good. Yeah.
All right.
Hello,
So
everyone.
Eltel, this is an old friend of mine, Gabriel, Eltel, or Terry.
Hi, Eltel.
Yeah.
How you doing?
The 2 things we have in common is that we all lived in Highbury.
Hey.
We all lived in Highbury, all 3 of us.
Yeah,
and also, we all went to Highbury Grove School as well. So there you go, Tel.
No way.
Yeah.
Highbury Grove School.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. Wow. That is amazing.
And Gabriel,
what a school it was
as well. Gabriel, tell us your story, mate.
Yeah, my story. Right. So funny enough that I can tell you what's, excuse me, my things my earpieces just dropped out. I'll tell you one thing. I don't know if anyone there knows how close I was to actually to the Arsenal stadium, but literally I was about around about a minute's walk away from the stadium. So literally that's how close I was. So if you think about this, right, where I was actually living, I could see part way into the stands because I was on the 4th floor of the flats, and I could actually see part of the stands. So I can, that's how close I was. So it was, I took it all for granted back then, because I'm sure some people would wonder, wow, how close that was. Second to that, I always knew, right? It was this is how ironic it was. I could actually hear the crowd roaring. So I kind of know, whether Arsenal, how far Arsenal, whether they were winning or not, or something like that, because obviously they had the loudest roar at the time. I mean, we're talking here late 70s into the 80s, but you can actually hear that roar, the roar, and I go, oh, I think Arsenal's up.
Gabs,
Yeah.
I have to ask you: were you in the flats behind the clock end, the really tall flat?
Yeah. So do you know Elwood Street?
Yeah.
You know Elwood Street? So those flats there, yeah, right there.
I know where you are. I
had
a mate at Highbury Grove. The guy's name was Vince. He was from Ireland, and he came in, I suppose, around about the 3rd year. What's that called in modern thing? About year 9. And
year 9, yeah.
His name was Vince, and I went round to his parents' flat, and it was where Conewood Street meets Avenel Road, right opposite
Avenue.
the stadium.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, he was on the first floor, and if you could imagine, one window looked out towards the stadium and the other to Avenel Road, and it was where they filmed, what was that film, the famous Arsenal film?
Oh, yes, now you're bringing back memories.
Fever Pitch, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Fever
Yeah.
Pitch, yes.
Yeah, and as soon as they showed that, and they're all watching the telly in there, I said, "That's Vince's flat."
Yeah, I tell you what, it's amazing. Do you know what the irony of it as well is that when I was I used to obviously I was about I can remember about 8 or 9, and I used to have to jump on my bike, so because I used to be playing around the streets there, Avenue Road, Gillespie Road, going up that side there, obviously Plimsoll Road, all around there. So I used to be riding my bike there, and I'd have to think to myself, oh man, the crowd are about to come out, because sometimes I'd get stuck in the crowd and just go, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get through all these people. I'm on my bike. Oh, and I'll be just weaving in and out of the people like this. Want to get home. It was amazing. Literally, it was amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you know what? The irony of it as well is that I was there in London back in 2019, right? So 2009 October, and I said to myself, I am going to. And I was walking down, literally walking down the street, and I was down the Plimsoll Road, Elwood Street, and I said, I've got to take my boys down here, just tell them exactly this is the street I was to Russell play football, did this, all this, and then I used to walk around again, I'd be rustling through the crowd. I just want to take them on that journey. I really want to do that, and it's going to be it's one of those things I'm able to do, and I'm so happy that I've got this, this particular plan, which has really worked out for me, that I can actually do that. Really tell me. Then I've taken my boys to the US. Now I want to take them to obviously to UK, and then tell them all about my history, and then obviously I'll take them to Europe and all that thing. But being in that position to be and not even having that plan there, I mean, it's been amazing that this just been having this opportunity that was given to me in order for me to do that was absolutely amazing, and I think that was just a brilliant. I don't know about anyone. It's not being able to do that, spend time with family abroad, bringing your own family together and everything like that. It's just I mean, I don't know if anyone, what a blessing that would be in order to do that. But what's amazing is that being able to do that, being given an opportunity to do that has been great. You know what I mean? And that's why myself and Alex, I've introduced Alex to this particular opportunity, which is absolutely amazing. And I just think, wow, what a godsend. And it's happening. Real good plan. Fantastic. So there you go.
So on the back end of that, I'm just posting a link to a video of the opportunity that Gabe was kind of giving you like little bits of nuggets. He's not giving you too much, but he's just kind of giving you little like feeders to kind of rasp up your interest, your curiosity. So have a look at the link for the video, which I just posted now in a live chat. And also who's joined us as well, he's inspired me as well, along with Gabriel as well, is Ron Palmer, who's a happy hammer. Yeah.
Good. How are you?
Ron, LTEL, Ron. How are you, Ron?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Very, very good. We've just been going over some
I know. I heard you having a chat.
Yeah, and Gable's just kind of been giving his story because you probably know, or maybe not know, that all three of us, LTEL, Gabriel, and myself, we went to Ivory Grove School, which is just a few minutes walk away from the old Ivory Stadium. And like
Ron, okay.
Yeah, Ron's is a happy hammer. Ron,
Indeed.
tell us your story.
Okay then, well, let's talk about the football last week. I
Do we
mean,
have
what an astonishing game. I think the good news about it is, no, you don't need to cover your face, Tell, is that all of us would have been gutted if it hadn't have ended in a draw, because it was the right result. You were sick as a pig in the first half, and we were sick as a pig in the second half. You had 3 or 4 chances to win it, and so did we. And I'll tell you what, whatever team talk your manager gave to your team, that must have been gold dust, mustn't it? Oh my God. And only a team like West Ham could be 3-0 down, draw the game 3-all, and score 5 of the 6 goals. But certainly,
Totally agree.
I think not only was it a good game for Hammers and West Ham supporters, but I think, wouldn't it be fair to say, guys, that anyone who wasn't a Hammers or a Gunner, they would have enjoyed that game, wouldn't they? Because we all try to play football. We're not always successful the same way. Arsenal don't go out to kick people off the park, do they? Nor do we. We don't go out to park a bus in front of our goal, and you certainly don't. And I just thought, whatever happens to the city, it reminded me of your nemesis, Tottenham, when they were 3-0 up, and we managed to. I mean, you wouldn't have put money on that game. Let me just go and.
As a Ron.
Was that
Someone turned my computer, someone turned my laptop off. So, yeah, in that Tottenham game, 3-0 down, and we ended up scratching the draw. So, to get on to what Gabe and Alex have been telling you, I'm a 76-year-old granddad, and you can see I'm way, way past my sell-by date. I've had businesses where I've been scammed many times, but my old mum would be looking down on me, and she was the only person who really believed in me when she said, Ron, don't ever give up. Always be tenacious and you will find something. And I'm telling you, if she's up there, and she certainly wouldn't be down there, trust me, she'd be looking down on me with a big smile on my face and saying, I told you so. So the reason we're excited about this is, it gives us a chance, certainly me and many others, to get financial freedom. And that's a funny word, guys. When you say that to most people, the first thought that comes into their mind, shut up, Ron. Why do I need a private plane? Why do I need my own yacht? But it's not about that, guys. If you Google financial freedom, it might surprise you. Do you know what it says? It says having the ability to pay your normal day-to-day expenses without having to work, which means earning it passively. That's what it is. And I'm so glad, just like when I go, Gabe and Alex never stop thanking me for caring enough about them to reach out and share this opportunity. And nor am I. And I think more so now, guys, in these COVID ravaged times. I mean, my personal journey, I nearly died in April, guys. I got COVID. I was on life support for 6 days, in hospital for 6 weeks. I don't know whether you know, the rules are every day you're in bed in hospital. It takes you a week to get over it. They found a massive blood clot in my lower intestine and had to take away 48 inches of it. My wife got a call from the surgeon who said, Mrs. Palmer, I'm a fit guy. Oh, I was fit. I'd done 6 London marathons. And he said, I know your husband's fit, Mrs. Palmer, but he's a 75-year-old guy. And he's had major surgery, almost preparing her for the worst. Now, 3 weeks after surgery, when I was in hospital, you know they want to get you up straight away. I didn't have the energy to get out of bed. They had to use a hoist. And I remember as though it was yesterday, the physio was there, and he said, Ron, I want you to do this 3 times. Touch the top of your head. I didn't have the energy to do it once. And if you guys were by my bedside there and you'd have said to me, don't worry, Ron, because in 6 months' time, you'll be walking 5 or 6 miles, I would have laughed at you. And you hear about these people having long COVID, don't you? You've only got to see that poor woman on breakfast TV whose husband's in a real mess. The only long COVID I've got is I think it's made me more anxious. It's made me more irritable and snotty. But people who know and love me say, well, what's new, Ron? You've always been irritable and you've always been snotty. That's nothing new. So I think not only has it affected people personally, guys, but it's affected people financially. Not only are they losing their jobs, people are losing income streams. So I think these days, more than ever, guys, people are waking up to the realisation. I mean, when we were kids, you know, our dads, they had one job and they joined the job from school, and most of our dads retired in the same job. You've only got to ask poor Alex, who lost his job at a school recently. That's not the case now, and people now know that one income stream, it is not enough, and people are realising I have to look for something else. So the good bit about it is, and we're not going to go on about it, as videos that Alex has stuck in the group, there's 2 ways you can come in and you can share it. Like, why wouldn't you share something like this? Or you can come in as a passive member. The entry rate is very, very low. Are we suggesting people to mortgage their homes? Absolutely not. Are we saying to people to take out a loan? Absolutely not. But all I can tell you, for me, in my life, I have never, ever been a 6-figure earner, which you know is equal to 100,000 quid a year. I've been in this for 8 months. I've sponsored 56 people. I've now got a team, which I'm pleased to say that Alex and Gabe are very valued members of it, a team of 1,800 people. And we have a laugh every Friday night. And I'm going to ask Alex and Gabe to give you the answer. Ask them why every Friday they go to bed, they have a smile on the face. And trust me, it's got nothing to do with a pretty lady who shares their bed on a Friday night. You ask them why they wake up with a smile. What's the answer, Alex?
Financial freedom.
No, it's not. Got it wrong. Tell them, mate, Gabe. Because Saturday,
you get paid.
Payday. There's not a person. There's not. I've never been in the business. I mean, I've had so many where you see in your account withdrawals, but you try and get your bloody withdrawals out. And there's not a person in my team that doesn't get paid. And I take a lot from that. And it's funny, you know, when people say to me, what's the best thing you like about it? I said, it's got nothing to the various 5 different ways we've got paid. And I know this sounds a bit gut-wrenching, but it's true. If I did nothing at all in this business, didn't come on the many Zoom calls I do, it wouldn't make one fraction of difference to my income. But the reason I like it is the difference I know that I can make by reaching out and helping people, not giving them a handout, because that doesn't work. You know, it's about the fish. You don't want to keep giving people fish. You want to give them a fishing rod, don't you, to know how to fish. And just helping people out, being able to help people either directly or indirectly out of the financial mess that I've been in for the last few years. And I think that's enough from me, guys. Thank you for inviting me onto your very esteemed show. I might even join it again, Alex. God,
of course you will. Of course. One quick question, Ron.
Yes.
Will West Ham secure top 4?
Oh my goodness! I'd like. See, we're all different, aren't we? For a team like Arsenal, what's expected, I think, of a Gunner fan is you've got to be in the top 4, haven't you? Everyone expects, being a Gunner fan, to be qualified for Europe, and you should have a half decent run in the cup. I mean, quarter-final, semi. For West Ham, a good season, I think, is finishing in the top 7 or 8 and having a good run. But just so you know, I've never been a great fan when David Moyes came back, but I'd be a bloody fool not to appreciate what he's done. And I don't know what he's done, but he's tightened us up at the back. And whoever we play against, and the joke is some of the best games are when we got beaten 1-0 by Man City, And I've got to tell you, you're not going to get many teams go to the Etihad and only lose by 1-0. And when Man United beat us, he just plays very, very tight at the back. And we don't seem to lose our shape. So for that, I'm eternally grateful, guys. Yeah.
Tell
Very good.
before one goes, would you have taken Moyes to Arsenal at some stage?
Sorry.
Funny enough, I wouldn't have done. Although now, having seen what he's doing at West Ham, and he's very experienced, you know, then obviously he's proving himself to be a superb manager. He's got that, as Ron was saying, he's got that back line plus the two defensive midfielders there playing brilliantly. And I must say, as a Londoner who went and watched West Ham Arsenal matches many times, even when we've lost matches to West Ham, and I remember that final back, was it 79, 80?
Oh, they absolutely.
Yeah,
wow.
and Arsenal got into 3 finals. The first one was against Ipswich. We were heavily fancied and lost it. The second one was against Man United. We were heavily fancied to lose, and Arsenal won it. And then the last one was against West Ham, who I think were Division 2 at the time. And heavily fancied Arsenal to win it, and Arsenal lost it. But I've never really heard Arsenal fans say bad stuff about West Ham.
No.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And Ron, I might tell you a little funny story. When I was a little fella, I went with my dad to see at Upton Park to see West Ham versus Arsenal, and I was in the away with all the Arsenal fans, and I'd have been about, I don't know, I was little anyway, and the sort of raking of the terraces was very, very steep, and every time the ball came near the goal, we were at one end, everybody rushed forward about 10 or 20 yards. and in the end, I found that we were so tightly packed that I lifted up my feet, and the crowd just carried me forwards. And then when it went up the other end, they carried me back. So,
wow, it's freaky.
Let me tell you guys my favourite gunner of all. I'm going to give you a clue. His colour is orange, and when he was in front of goal, he could turn on a sixpence. Only Tell would know what a sixpence is because he's old enough. You guys might not. Do you know who I'm talking about, guys? Come on, the clue is orange. Alex, who's the player?
Dutch, is he?
Yes, of course he's Dutch. Well done, Tell.
He said it, Bergkamp, didn't he?
Bergkamp. Oh my goodness. I went down there and I saw him turn on a sixpence. Didn't he end up for some time, guys, on the coaching staff at Arsenal? I thought he did, didn't he? Or...
No.
What, has he gone out of football completely then? Is that what's happened to him?
Well, I think he said recently that he's, of course, he's got a young family and he's not thinking
that's right, getting
back into coaching anytime soon. I know there's been like a scream, a crescendo of people saying we need to get the likes of Bergkamp into coaching at Arsenal, but for that anytime
legend,
soon. Yeah,
legend, yeah.
No, great stories, guys. Great stories.
Yeah.
I remember my first game. Now, let me tell you something about football. Football fans change their wives. They very often change their partners. But one thing they never, ever change is their football club. My first game at West Ham, I went there with my dad. We were playing Stoke. The other guys won't remember Stanley Matthews, but Tell will. And he will tell you he never scored many goals, but he crossed and made a lot of goals, didn't he, Tell? And we were playing Stoke, typical Hammers. We were 3-0 up and we lost 4-3. And Matthew scored one of the goals. I remember sitting on my dad's shoulders. Funny, aren't they? Great stories.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Unfortunately, these two guys won't remember Stanley Matthews.
No.
I never saw him play. I know the name.
No.
I must say,
do you remember Sorry, do you remember a very famous chairman of yours called Mr. Chapman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just checking your proper goodness.
Yes, exactly.
Can I just relate a modern story, really, that since West Ham have moved into the Olympic Stadium, I know quite a few people who will be mostly Arsenal fans, my son included, who, when Arsenal are not playing, him and his mates drive down to Stratford. I think there must be a multi-storey car park down
Yes,
there.
there
Or
is.
something.
Yeah, there is, Tom.
And they park the car there, walk up to the ground, and it's a good bit cheaper to get in to watch West Ham than it is to watch Arsenal. And they go and watch a game, and they enjoy the game. And that's one of the joys of living in a big city where there's quite a few clubs. And
I
yes,
think you're right. I think you're right.
You can still go and enjoy another game. And I've been to see West Ham play a good few times when they haven't played Arsenal. But, you know, it's the sort of thing on a Saturday afternoon, you hop on the tube, you go down to Upton Park, as it was in those days, and you enjoy a game. So, you know, no has a bad word to say about West Ham. And there haven't been that many players who've played for sort of both clubs. I'm trying to go through.
No, I don't think there has, Joe. I don't think there has. No.
No.
Another great sporting story, because we're all sports fans, I'm going to share with you. I went to Wimbledon one year. I've got 3 sons, and I took my little son, who's now a teacher in Bali. We should have gone out there last year, but COVID got in the way. And I took him there, and I saw Ken Rosewall. You might not.
Oh,
I know,
yeah.
I used to call him the Little Master, one of the greatest tennis players never to have won Wimbledon. And in the last game there, he got thrashed in the final by Jimmy Connors, 6-2, 6-2. So I spotted him coming out the players' dressing room, and I rushed up to him. I said, "Can I have your autograph?" He was like a beetroot, because these guys who were played out in the heat. And I said, "Ken, do you mind me asking you why you gave up so easily against Connors?" And he looked at me and he said, "God, did it look as though I gave up? The fact is, I couldn't do anything about it." And I've been lots of these talks where you have sports people on the stage and they give you all their anecdotes, don't they? And they ask for questions afterwards. And but another one of my favourite ones was the great cricket umpire, whose name escapes me. Do you know the guy I'm talking about, Phil?
Bird?
Dickie Bird. I went to one of his on a book signing, and he said, "Look, guys, I'll answer questions about anything, but don't mention Jeffrey Boycott." And he said, about Jeffrey Boycott, that's great. And we all know Jeffrey Boycott wasn't a team player, was he, Tel? He was like, "Bugging you, Jack, I'm all right." And he was playing for England on one day, and he obviously got instruction from the captain to do this, and he didn't do it at all. He just did his own thing. And then he got bowled out for the next ball. And these people always have great stories to tell, don't they, guys? Yeah.
They do.
Very interesting.
They do.
Ron, in the same way that Arsenal have become the Chelsea players' retirement home, some of our players went off to West Ham in the latter part of their career. I'm thinking of Ian Wright.
Ian Wright, yes, indeed.
Did you?
Oh, right, yeah.
Playing for you as well, didn't John Radford end up at West Ham?
Yes, he did. He played for him. That was a bloke who used to kick. He didn't have a lot of skill. He used to boot the ball up and hope it ended in the back of the goal, didn't he? Still a bit of an Arsenal legend, I guess, yeah? Peter Radford.
West Ham, not the West Ham, the Chelsea retirement club. They send us all their players.
Did Ray Parlour go to you guys as well?
When you think about Frank Lampard's son, in my heyday, I used to be a family butcher. I had 3 shops. I had one in a place called Dagenham, which is in the East End. And Frank Lampard, Frank Lampard Senior, you listen to this, you won't believe it. He owned the dry cleaners opposite my shop. And Janet, the manager, used to come over to me to buy her meat. And she said, "I hate Mondays, Ron." I said, "Why do you hate Mondays, Ron?" Well, I've never got any change because Frank always comes up and he empties the till. You couldn't imagine Frank Lampard with a £25 million fortune buying a dry cleaners and going in and emptying the till from his manager, could you tell? And that's how it was in those days. They weren't. Do you know a guy called Barry Lloyd? Barry used to be the manager of Brighton, and he played for Chelsea. And he remembers that guy Barry, someone who was interfering with all the young lads. Do you remember, Tel?
No.
No, he ended up at a club up north anyway. He did a lot of it. There's been programmes on him. And I said, what did he try on with you, Barry? And he said, well, just touch. I said, why didn't you report him? He said, Ron, in those days, if you'd have started ruffling feathers, you'd have been back stacking shells at Tesco. And that's how these guys got away with it, wasn't it? Because no one was prepared to report it. And he ended up at Fulham. He used to roommate with Bobby Moore. And I said, what was you earning in your heyday? 85 quid a week. That's when I would have been on about 10 quid a week.
Wow.
No, perhaps a bit more than that, because of course Johnny Haynes was the first £100 a week footballer. Perhaps 180 quid, but nothing more than that. And now he's got the dream job. He's the chief scout at Brighton. And it's funny how these managers, the owner of Brighton is a professional gambler called John Bloom. I don't know whether you know it. And his whole family have been steeped in tradition of Brighton for 3 generations. And you know how much it costs them. You know how much it costs a club, guys, when they drop out of the Premiership. It drops a million. And he went to his chairman, Tel, and because they couldn't score goals, they still can't. He said, I've got you a £5 million forward. He plays at Espinal. And knowing how much it would cost him to drop out the Premiership, and he's got the money, he wouldn't spend out £5 million on buying that striker. Isn't it funny, their mindset?
Wow. Ron, there's a comment in our live chat coming from Colin Young, who's one of our regulars. He says,
hello, Colin.
Tell them what an Arsenal fan is. Well, expected. Ron, I love this guy. So you've already got a little following on the channel, Ron.
Oh my! I tell you
they
what,
love you.
Don't get many people following you at 76 years old. When I was a kid, I had the girls clambering over seats for me, but they don't do that now, guys. That's for sure. Oh my goodness!
You've got your little fan base already, Ron.
I keep trying to convince my wife that older men make better lovers, but she doesn't seem to listen to me yet. You know, the old hearing aid goes on, but never mind. I must be doing something right to have held on to the same lady for 57 years, eh?
You don't get one of those to a penny. Oh my goodness. Just one more question to you guys. Ron, will you take any of our current crop of players at Arsenal to go to West Ham? There's not many, are there? There's not many.
I think we need another striker because with Antonio, we're never going to get no more than about 30 games a season. I'm well pleased at Lingard. Needless to say, Man United are being spiteful. They said we could buy him at the end of the season for 10 million. What do you think they've done? They've now gone and doubled the price. I think the good bit about Lingard, I think I'm right about him. Can he play anywhere along the front line? I think he can't he?
I think he can't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Can do.
Yes, I'm well pleased. I mean, I think that the jewel in our crown this season has got to be who we all call the checkmates. The 2 guys from Czechoslovakia. One's a left, Sufal, I can't remember the name of the other guy, but they've been instrumental in our success this season. They really have. And Bowen, the guy we bought from Hull City, he's good. Ben Rama, I don't think we've seen the best of him, but I think we've got more to come. I think Lanzini, since he had his injury a few years ago, he's never been the same. I don't know how long we're going to persist with him. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I must say, I
Yeah.
was very impressed by Souček. I thought he played a very good game against Arsenal, and it does remind us all, that we don't have to keep paying big money for good players. And
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Think about it, there are plenty of the Eastern European clubs, as it were, the Czech Republic, Poland, and so on, that will have some wonderful players, and you only know if they're going to be wonderful if you get some good scouts out there and
Absolutely.
and try and pick up some of these players. And I mean, even Liverpool over the years have made some bad buys, but they always pay small money. So if you buy a player and it's small money and it doesn't work out, well, you haven't lost much. Just put.
No, you're right. And no one knows, Tel, when you buy them a manager, whether they're going to fit into your setup, do you? No one knows.
No.
That's a good point, isn't it? Yeah, the chemistry. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
All right, guys. I think we've come to an end on this rather different live show. It's a little bit raucous. We've got a happy Hammer in Ron Palmer. I've got my old mate Gabriel on the other side of the planet in Australia. What's the weather like in Australia now? Well, Melbourne. It's quite late now, isn't it?
Yeah, it was quite nice. So it was about 21 degrees Celsius.
We don't want to hear about your sunshine. Send some of it over here.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you something. Put it in perspective. There's certain people in Melbourne go, "Oh, Melbourne's a bit cold," and I go to myself, "You need to live in the UK." And then I wake up.
Yeah, I bet. I've been out this morning. I've had a cap and gloves and scarf on. Oh my goodness! Well, that's an exaggeration. It's not a bad day today, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. And Eltel, original Godfather. Yeah, it's always good to have you on the channel, man.
Yeah, I was
nice to meet you.
Of the fact we actually bought an Australian guy once back after the double. I think first double, 71, and his name was John Cosmina. And he flew into London, and it was a January day, and they said to him, "Right, now you're going to play for Arsenal. What do you think of being in England?" And excuse the French, he said, "It's bloody cold."
I bet he said more right words than that, Tel, that's for sure.
Oh dear.
I presume life is back to normal over there in Melbourne, Gabs, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. More or less, yeah, back to normal. The only difference is that when we have to wear a mask when we go into the supermarket, but apart from that, everybody's like gathering, doing all sorts of things, so that's fine, because I think we got 0 cases. So guess what? So I asked my wife the other day. I think I was talking to Alex, and I asked my wife the other day, and I said, because Alex asked me, "Oh, is there any cases? Is it pretty clear?" I said, "Look, I think there's 0 cases here." And my wife goes, and so I asked her, I said, "Are there any cases in Melbourne or in Melbourne?" She goes, "Only 1." I said, "What do you mean 1?" I said, "Yeah, 1." She goes, "It's you." And I look at her and I go, "What do you mean it's you?" "Yeah, because you're coughing and sneezing. You won't go to the doctor. You won't go to the doctor to see and get a COVID test." I said, "I only got a, just a little cough. That's it. Done."
Gabs, can I ask you, because of the time difference, you're around about 12 hours difference from us. What happens to Arsenal fans in Melbourne, Sydney, and such and such? Do they get up in the middle of the night, or not go to bed, or what?
Yeah, I got. Yeah, no, I got a friend of mine down the road, right? Sometimes he watches. He's watching he's watching he's using the cable, but he watches the game sometimes 2-3 o'clock in the morning, our time. So he's watching it. I go, "You serious?" He go, "Yeah, man." I said, "No, I can't do that." I said, I just look at I just turn on my thing and watch the game literally when I wake up in the morning and watch the game that way, or maybe mid-morning, afternoon. I just catch up that way, hoping nobody tells me what the score is, right? So that's what I'm waiting for. That's how I do it. Early in the morning, some guys that just want to just watch it. And I say he's like that. He just wants to watch it live. Boom, done. Yeah.
All right,
Full on.
guys, in the live chat. Sorry, we didn't get to read all the live comments, but from what I'm seeing there, yeah, everyone seems to like Ron Palmer. Yeah, Ron's the happy hammer.
The bad news is it might be my first time, but it ain't gonna be my last time. I do come with a Welsh wool. Failure to take notice of what Dave and Alex and me said could seriously damage your wealth.
So anyway, guys, listen. So we'll come to an end on this Saturday morning, actually, or was it Saturday evening in over there in Oz? But thank you to everyone who kind of tuned in for this kind of like off key, slightly strange morning show. I will be back later on this evening to do another evening segment, kind of reviewing the news of today. I'm hoping that LTL can join me again. But you won't be seeing Ron Palmer. Maybe next week, Ron Palmer, maybe Gable next week, but not later on tonight.
Thank you very much, guys. Nice to meet you all.
Brilliant. So that's
Ron,
it.
Good to meet you all.
Go on,
Ron, I don't start you off, but for a start, you're the only one of us who has a full head of hair. So fair play to you there. And
Oh, that's a good point.
Very good. Thank you.
Whoa.
And you've got a very high voice and quite raspy. I don't want to start you off now, but because it's a bit early in the day, but I bet you could do a fairly good Rod Stewart impression.
I'm not old enough to remember Rod Stewart, but my granddad told me about it.
Oh.
Oh,
I don't talk about it, as Rod Stewart says.
Oh, dear.
All right, guys, you have a good weekend now.
Same to you. Well,
Have a good one. Yeah, enjoy it.
Guys, make sure you subscribe to Canon 4 TV, and we'll see you very, very soon.